Good morning, beloveds. It was a nice bike ride after, 3 days of rain, 4 days of rain. So, yeah, got out, got that bike ride in. I didn't take a coat, and I regretted it for about the first half of the ride, and then the second half of the ride, I was glad I didn't have the coat. So, it is what it is. I made a deliberate choice. I knew. All right, it is November 14th. Our title is Complete in Thee, and our author is Rowland from Dare to Believe, 1961. And this is from Unity. There is no frustration, no loneliness, no longing in my heart that thou, O Spirit, does not satisfy and fill to overflowing through thy great love. There is no sadness, no depression, no limit in my life. I am complete in thee, satisfied in thee. I seek thee with my whole heart. Because I so earnestly seek thee, I find thy comfort, thy strength, thy peace here with me now. Because of my completeness in thy love, I freely relinquish all the things that are unimportant in my life's experience. They are forgotten, forgiven, and released. I release everything of the past that no longer contributes to my happiness. I release any apprehension for the future. I live in the joy of the present. I hold fast only to that which is of the very highest and best, enduring and enriching. Every condition, every individual adds to my joy because I have found thee. I radiate to every person I meet the joy that comes from my completeness in thee. There is peace in my soul, and there is harmony in my affairs because I know thy love. I place my life in thy hands without care or anxiety about the future, for I know that all is well. Thy love satisfies my longing soul and fills my life with thy good. All right. So there's a couple of things about this. One, that would make an excellent realization step in a treatment. Two, that would also make an excellent, because there are so many little, if you needed an affirmation, that you could break this down into affirmations. And three, she said a couple of things that I would like to highlight in here. Okay, I seek thee with my whole heart. Because I so earnestly seek thee, I find thy comfort, thy strength, thy peace here with me now. What is it? And I forget who said, which quote, where it is, but seek ye first the kingdom of God. That's what she is saying here. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Whenever, in Science of Mind, whenever we talk about when we have a problem, the first thing we are taught to do is to go to God, to go to spirit, whatever you want to call it, go to the universe, go to the source of your own being, whatever word you want to use, go there first. Whatever the problem is, you go to God first, then you go and, do whatever, look it up on the internet, go talk to people, do whatever, but you go to God first. And so that's what she's saying. If everything is God-centered, then you're going to make better choices. And because you're willing to be guided. Now, there was another line in here that I want to highlight. That was because of the completeness of thy love, I freely relinquish all things that are unimportant in my life's experience. I release everything of the past that no longer contributes to my happiness. So it's again, where your focus goes is where your attention goes, where your focus is, that's where your power goes. So if you are focused on the problems, then all you're going to see is problems. If you're focused on the solutions, or the opportunities, then that's what you're going to see. And she's talking about relinquishing the past. And why that is so important, because was it yesterday we were talking about guilt and shame? within the last couple of days, I did one of the readings was about guilt and shame. Guilt and shame does not do us any good. We want to take the lessons that we've learned, incorporate them, and move forward, and just let everything else go. So if it is not contributing to your life in a positive way, why is it in your life? And that can be said about ideas, that can be said about stuff, and that can be said about people. Now, there are certain people that we can't entirely cut out of our lives, except for extreme circumstances, but you can minimize your time with those people. We all have that person in our life that we're just like, they're negative Nellies, they're just completely negative. And so it's like with those kind of people, one, pray up before you're around them, and two, minimize your time with them, and three, know what's safe to talk about. No, we're getting really close to Thanksgiving. And so that's one of those things is like, if you're going to go home for the holidays and you've got that one person in your family that you can't completely avoid, then pray up before you go. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Pray up before you go. And then let it all go. Don't hold the past and expect that to happen, but also make sure that you steer to safe conversations. So that could be very helpful. All right. So I release everything from the past that no longer contributes to my happiness. I release any apprehension for the future. I live in the joy of the present. That would be, you can go back and talk to Eckhart Tolle about the present. Literally all we have is now. And I think Lao Tzu said it, and science will tell you that depression is living in the past and anxiety is living in the future. All we have is now. So, adequately prepare for the future, but don't get crazy about it. Don't worry too much about it. And take the lessons from the past, but let it go. All right. May has got some really just punchy points in here. I hold fast only to that which is of the very highest and best, enduring and enriching. Focus on the good. Focus on the good and let the rest of it just kind of fall away. Every condition, every individual adds to my joy because I have first found thee. And again, that goes back to focusing on the good. Now, I will be honest with you. There are occasionally times when we want to see the good in people and they just keep showing us that they're not ready for that. Then fine, keep seeing the good in them, but do it from over here where it's safe. Okay. Do not put yourself in the hands of somebody that you know is not safe just because you want to see the good in them. All right. Still see the good in them. Just do it from a safe space. All right. I radiate to every person I meet the joy that comes from my completeness in thee. There is peace in my soul and there is harmony in my affairs because I know that thy love. When you know who you are, when you recognize that you are a beloved child of God, you become an island of peace. People sense that. Even if they don't recognize it, people sense that. And people want to be close to that. And so that's one of those things. That's where you want to have healthy boundaries with people. It's like, I want to be an island of peace. I want to be an island of calm. I want people to see me as safe harbor. Okay. When they need a break from their storm, then they can come and rest with me. But I'm not going to let them bring their storm to my shores. Okay. So recognize that. When you find this, when you know who you are, people want to be close to that. People want to be close to that. You want to be prepared for that and have healthy boundaries. Okay. All right. I place my life in thy hands without care or anxiety about the future, for I know that all is well. I mean, that is an exercise in trust. I place my life. It doesn't absolve me of the responsibility of planning for my future. But what it does do is it takes off the worry. So I can make the preparations that I need to and not worry. And especially not worry when things seem to go wrong. Because just because they're a little off track doesn't mean, one, they're going to go all the way off track, or two, maybe it's showing me that there's something different that is good for me. All right. And then her last line, thy love satisfies my longing and fills my life with thy good. And that right there, when we connect to the infinite source of love, we realize that love doesn't come from us. It comes through us. And it is an infinite source that we are plugged into. Therefore, we do not have to exhaust ourselves in giving out love. That's why I like to say spend love recklessly, because it's not your love that you're spending. You are spending God's love, Spirit's love, the source of your own being's love, and that is an infinite source of love. Now, I do advocate self-care. You know that. So while I do say spend love recklessly, I do remind you to husband your resources wisely. So do what you can do. Do what you know that you can do, and know that you always have a safe place to go back and fill up. And that when you are willing to tap into that divine love, as much as you need will always be there. As much as you need will always be there. So, that's one of the reasons why what I love about Science of Mind, and it just sounds weird. It's like, no matter what's going on in your life, go to God first. If things are going wrong, go to God. But if things are going well, go to God. That's why we use the term pray up. It is about going to the source of your own being. And that's what the point of regular daily spiritual practice is to create that well-worn path to the source of your own being. So no matter what happens, you can get there in an instant. You can get there in an instant. In those moments of, and I'm going to use the word crisis, your first response, because a reaction, you don't think about, a response you do. So your first response, if you have created the habit, is to go to that sacred space first. And it can be momentary. You dip into that space and you know that whatever happens, you're not alone. God is there and you have the support of God. And then when you look around, you see God looking back at you in all of the people that show up to help. All right. So, May Rowland, that was really amazing. Like I said, it would make the great body, realization body in treatment. Yes, realization body in treatment. But also there are a number of them in there where you could break them out into affirmations. And as always, if a particular word doesn't resonate with you, please feel free to change it so that it resonates with you. And Ernest would tell you the same thing about all of his work. Now, this is from Unity. And as far as I know, Unity is not any more stickler about the words have to be. So, I commend to you, May Rowland. Look her up, check her out. This is a beautiful piece. And so the mission today, should you choose to accept it, is that title. Is absolutely that title. Is complete in thee. I place my life in thy hands. That's the mission. Are you willing to place your life in the hands of Spirit? Are you willing to plug into the infinite source of and allow it to flow through you? Are you willing to be complete in God? Are you willing to be complete in Spirit? That's the mission. Honestly, it's the same mission every day. The language is just a little different every day. When it resonates with you, you'll know it. Okay, the other mission is the same mission I give you every day, which is the spiritual practice of self-care. Do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. Be it one thing, be it three things, be it all the things, because in the end, that's the goal. I'm encouraging you to practice self-care, to practice love, kindness, and compassion on yourself. You are your own best test subject. I'm encouraging you to create a habit so that your first response is loving, kind, and compassionate. But the most important reason is because you're a beloved child of God and you deserve your own love, your own kindness, your own compassion. So I encourage you to do that. Some basic suggestions: take a deep breath before you speak. Give yourself a moment to think about what's about to come flying out of your mouth. Take a walk, take a nap, take a break, which is the human equivalent of turning yourself off and turning yourself on again. Those are just basic suggestions on practicing love, kindness, and compassion on yourself. I also like to use the phrase eat dessert first, which I came to realize for me means don't save the good stuff. Or, as I've now started saying, go out of your way to make the ordinary extraordinary a little more often. We have all these fancy clothes. We have all these fancy dishes. We have all this fancy stuff that we save for holidays. Why not take an ordinary Tuesday and use all that stuff? Make the ordinary extraordinary a little more often. I also want to remind you that joy is a quality of God, because she talked a little bit about quality of God. Joy is a quality of God, therefore joy is a quality of you. No matter what is going on in the world, no matter what is going on in your life, you deserve joy. I encourage you to make room for joy. And it can look like holding on to a special memory. It can look like calling a good friend. It can look like cuddling with your fur babies, because there's a cat asleep, just adorable, right next to me. And this is my joy, part of my joy. So no matter what's going on in the world, no matter what's going on in your life, you deserve joy. That's part of that spiritual practice of self-care. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you are going to live a life of service, you got to take care of yourself. But as I said, you're a beloved child of God. You deserve your own love. You deserve your own kindness. You deserve your own compassion. All right. The rest of the suggestions are basic. Do something to engage your mind and your body, whatever that looks like for you. Drink plenty of water. Hydration is super important. Your brain works better. Your body works better. And your skin looks better when you're well hydrated. Drink plenty of water. And get early in your day bright light. I like to say, and you can look it up, it's science. You look up the circadian rhythms. Between 7 and 9, the sun is hitting the earth at the perfect angle. So 5 to 10 minutes of sun on your face in that 7 to 9 in the morning era helps support your vitamin D, which is important for your immune system, your bones, your thyroid, all of that, your mood. And it'll help reset those circadian rhythms. So you'll have more energy during the day and you'll sleep better at night. It is science. You can look it up. So 7 and 9. If you get up before, the crack of dawn, or you get up later because you work later, you can Google either sun lamps or seasonal affect disorder lamps. I think at this point, technology has come to the point you can just buy a light bulb and screw it into a lamp you already have. Very important. It'll help you feel better. That's what I'm about. Now I'm going to give you my Ernest Holmes quote. Open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you, you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you all the time. What does that mean? It's all God. That's what it means. That everything is made by God, of God, for God. Once we get here, we get to make choices, which is why weird things happen. But it's all God, which means we can choose again and again and again. And that's the great thing. We are always at choice, and so we can make new choices. But it's a recognition that heaven is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. It's not a place that we have to get to. It is not, it's literally a state of mind. And once we learn to create it for ourselves, because that's the only way that it works. Once we learn to create it for ourselves, nobody can take it away from us, and any place can become heaven. And that's the really amazing part about this. Any place can become heaven. So, check it out. That's the spiritual practice of self-care is part of it. And you can always take Emma Curtis Hopkins' advice. Look for the good and praise it. Science says the best way to change a grumpy mood Volunteer. Random acts of kindness and volunteer work. So, or as Emma just said, look for the good and praise it, stands for count your blessings. Because when you start looking at the good, especially all the little good in your life, which adds up into the big good, you'll see that there's a lot more than you thought there was. All right, beloveds. I think I'm now at the part where I get to encourage you. No, social media. Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I am on. There are hours of content on the YouTube channels. Both of them. So feel free to go. I mean, I've got 4 or 5 books up almost now on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube channel. And we've got a whole lot of Reverend Jesse on the Creative Life Spiritual Center and the Soul Session playlist, which is a really good one. Whatever you need is probably in the Soul Session playlist. So please go check that out. All right. And then if you want to know what's going on with the center, email info@creativelife.org. That'll get you on the constant contact, and those hot links are hot. Visit us, click here now. It takes you right to the information, i.e. the YouTube channel, or to the person that can help you get it. All right. Now I'm at the part where I get to encourage you to have a great day, a wondrous day, a fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day, a complete in thee day, a let it all go day, a make room for joy day, a know who you are day, a put your hands in God day, a let the divine love flow through you day, I'm using sentences, not words day, a good day. And if that's too much pressure, simply have a day. You're enough just as you are. You're a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased and well represented. All right. You are a brilliant light. You are a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. Or as Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you're a godling. All right. Know the truth of your being. I've already alluded to it. You know, you are a beloved child of God. What I encourage you to do is to peel back the layers of who you have been told you are. Peel back gender and culture and religion and society and politics, and just peel all of that off and get to know who God knows you to be. At the base of that, God knows you to be love. That is who you are. So I can promise you, when you get to know who God knows you to be, that person is really good and pretty cool. All right, beloveds. I'm going to remind you, Reverend David will be on around 5 p.m. with you, and he is out of the country right now and still managing to do this at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Get props to him. I'll be back with you around 9 a.m. tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.